that music. There's something different about the music, and there's something different about Championship Sunday. Hi, everybody. I'm Chris Berman, along with Tom Jackson and Trent Dilfer. We have our two teams in the Super Bowl, and it is the Ravens against the 49ers. And, Tom, unusual happenings, yes?
Yes, you've been saying it for years. That's why we play the games. It's been 1997 since the road teams both won the championship game. 9th year since the best record in the NFL has not won the Super Bowl. So that's why you just want to get in the tournament.
Well, I mean, shall we go to it?
Let's do it.
Let's do some football, all right? Well, the story was almost too good to be true, right? Ray Lewis's magic ride. Yes, they beat the Colts. Yes, they won in double overtime. Ray Lewis and the Baltimore Ravens at Peyton Manning and the Broncos. But again, a more than a touchdown underdog at Tom Brady the very next week, and the Patriots and Bill Belichick and their pedigree. The story was simply too good to be true. New England, after all, had scored the third most points in football all year long and repeated that performance with 41 against Houston in the first round of the postseason. So, right, fairy tales, do they come true? Maybe it's not a fairy tale. Here we go from not yet frosty Foxborough, where it was windy, but actually, for January, the temperature's okay. Robert Kraft and Tom Brady say, you know what, we hope to get the better of Ray Lewis in a rematch of last year's championship game with the Patriots beating the Ravens, remember, 23-20. So early on, Brady looking for Wes Welker. Ooh, it passed just a little long, and the Patriots have to punt. Offense is having trouble early, fellas, as Brady goes to Aaron Hernandez, who had a strong early part of the game, picks up 10 and a Patriot first down. Now, 2nd and 9, New England. Brady to Brandon Lloyd for a first down to the Baltimore 20. They only get a field goal, but they have the lead at 3-0. Joe Flacco late first. He can throw it long, but Aqib Talib every step of the way with Anquan Bolden. Incomplete brings up 3rd down, 3rd and 13 after delay of game. Flacco for Bolden, and Talib breaks it up, but grabs his leg. He went to the locker room. He would not return. Still a 3-0 game. This is a team that scored close to 600 points in the 17 games they played New England. Brady for Lloyd. He can't quite pull it in. Patriots punt, so they missed some chances early. Still 3-0 second quarter. Joe Flacco. Going long to Torrey Smith, and a 25-yard pickup. That duo had done in the Patriots in September, 31-30, down to the 15, Ray Rice. And he has scored touchdowns in the playoffs there before. And it is a 7-3 lead, and Patrick Chung hurt on the play. Second quarter, fake handoff Brady to Welker on the screen. And New England's starting to feel it. You feel that now they're picking up the tempo, fellas. 3rd and goal later in the drive. Brady to Welker. It's a touchdown as the DBs got fouled up as Gronk looks on.
Really nice play design by the New England Patriots to get in the end zone.
2 minutes to go in the half. The score 10-7 New England. Brady under pressure. He goes down. The ump kind of gets in his way. Kind of interesting, right? Chad Brown makes the tackle. Who gets credit with that tackle?
Well,
give it a Ray
you
Lewis.
split that one between the ump and
give it a Ray Lewis. Direct snap to Danny Woodhead with some, on 4th and 1 with some trickery. New England, Bill Belichick's gamble pays off. 34 seconds to go in the half. How many times have you seen New England score right at the end of the half? Brady to Hernandez. It's down to the 10-yard line, 1st and goal. Now, Brady gonna scramble, and Ed Reed is there, so he goes down, the foot is up. John Harbaugh complains that should have been a flag. It wasn't. Bottom line, though, no touchdown, only a field goal.
Yeah, great play by Ed Reed, and you can see why Coach Harbaugh was upset.
13-7 New England at the half, 66-0 all-time at home when leading at the half. Hello? That would be every game, right? This group. Tom Brady, Bill Belichick, that's the numbers. And now with the 13-7, Bernard Pollard gets flagged for the hit on Wes Welker.
Well, I guess it was helmet to helmet. I mean, it's a call that by rule you're going to see an official make.
Patriots down to the 36 now. Brady to Welker, but he can't hold on 3rd and 7, fellas, and surprise.
Theme of the day. Patriots do some good things on offense, can't extend drives because of a lack of execution. Here it happens to be a drop by Wes Welker.
So they punt, and so Baltimore going with the wind. Flacco to Dennis Pitta. He Pitta-patters 22 yards. Ravens get the ball out to midfield. Baltimore feeling it a little bit. Pump fake Flacco. And gets it to Rice on the screen. Makes one man miss. What? And here he goes. Hey, diddle, diddle, Ray Rice up the middle, 15 yards. And that's a Ravens first down. Second and goal. Flacco. Pitta. Touchdown. Baltimore leads 14-13. After a 3-and-out New England, second and 14 Baltimore. Smith is wide open, 23 yards into Patriot territory. Flip the field, still the same drive, fourth quarter, first and goal. Flacco, Anquan Bolden, who's just so tough even when he's covered.
Nice play by Joe Flacco, putting the ball up in the air in a blitz so Anquan Bolden can make a play on the ball. Phenomenal by Anquan, pulling it in.
21-13 Baltimore. So you know New England's coming back. They're down 8. Stephen Ridley, but bang! He's crushed by Bernard Pollard, and the ball is loose, and it's Baltimore ball. They looked at the replay, but this play told it all, fellas.
These are the kind of hits that change the complexion of a football game because it really takes the heart out of your team offensively. It resulted in a huge turnover for the Ravens, put one of the Patriots out in terms of Ridley, and changed everything as the Ravens went on.
So here comes Baltimore. Flacco to Smith, a big chunk, 16 yards down to the 31-yard line. Tom Brady can only watch as Baltimore's got to the 11. Flacco. Bolden hits a touchdown, and the Ravens have scored again. That's 3 touchdowns in the second half, so they're up 28-13 with 11 minutes to go. Brady to one of last week's heroes. Shane Vereen, not a hero here. Could have had the first down. 4th and 4. Under pressure. Haloti, not a... Oh, no. I got to throw this, and there's nobody there, and the Ravens force the Patriots to turn it over on downs. 3-and-out Baltimore was kind of a curious drive, so 7.5 to go New England. Wes Welker, 36 yards down to the 24 of Baltimore. Maybe the Patriots have life. But Pernell McPhee gets his hand on the ball, and Daniel Ellerbe makes the pick. Ravens defense standing tall.
Ravens all day long, opportunistic, bent a little bit, but made the play as New England got into scoring territory. Here it's a deflected ball, but this Ravens defense always believing that they're going to come up with the big stop.
Then another pick at the end of the game, although it was a formality at that point. It's about 1:15 to go, and so the Patriots, they're the ones that sit stunned. They'd never not won when they had a lead, as we showed you at half. But the Baltimore Ravens, once again, do not take no for an answer. They outscore the Patriots 21-0 in Foxborough to go to the Super Bowl and win the AFC Championship game. Third time in 5 years they've played this game. They've played them all on the road, including last year, and this time they break through. Ray Lewis's magic carpet ride continues. He visited with Sal Palantonio.
Listen to me. When you sacrifice something for God, He will give you anything that your heart desires if it aligns with His will. And I knew as a leader the things that I gave up, the things that I sacrificed for my team, to come back as a leader, to be counted out with a torn tricep. And God just kept telling me, no weapon formed against me shall prosper. No weapon formed against my team shall prosper. And anytime you trust in God, man can't tell you what you can't do. Sal, you know, I respect the game too much. And I was hurt when I saw a sign that actually said my retirement would end tonight. Man can't dictate that. God dictate that. And what else can you say? Back seriously.
We came here last year and left with a bitter taste in our mouth. We felt like this team took something away from us. And we wanted to come back and make that right. You know, it would have been great to do it in front of our fans in Baltimore at M&T Bank Stadium, but we thought the proper way was to come back here and to win at Foxborough.
I think it's pretty sweet, you know, having won one of these AFC championships. It's probably pretty sweet no matter how you do it, and you know, no matter what fashion it's in. You know, we didn't come all the way here to, you know, play it safe and, you know, hope to win. We came here and we're in the AFC Championship game, and you have to go play to win, and you have to, you know, do some of those things. And our guys made plays.
It was a team victory. It was about the team, you know, the team. And that's what wins football games like this.
Feels like closest thing to heaven. You know, that's the best feeling ever.
Well, they did a good job. I wouldn't say it was anything that they didn't do in the first half. They just did a better job than we did. I just don't think anything was really as good as it needed to be tonight. Gave up too many points, didn't score enough. So say we probably came up a little short in every area.
Disappointed. You know, I think we obviously didn't play very well. And you don't play very well against a good team. You know, it's not even very competitive. So it's unfortunate. We just couldn't make any critical plays when we needed to.
And so it is the Baltimore Ravens that are moving on, as you saw it. And look, 21-0 in the second half. There's lots of reasons for it. There's a shutout, pitched, which we detailed in the highlights, and there's a Ravens offensive philosophy that eventually wore the Patriots down, Tom.
Well, they are always going to run the football when they're going to be successful. They didn't have a lot of success doing it, but the consistency of it, they keep willing themselves to do it. And when they get down around the goal line, when they're out at the middle of the field and beyond, they started to have success later on. You can see now 2 minutes just over left in the third quarter. They were starting to wear the New England Patriots down. These drives that they put together, 90 yards, 87 yards, 83 yards to score, those kinds of drives start to wear on a defense, and I thought that was a lot of what this team was able to do in terms of running the football.
Well, Boom, the other thing, too, is, and Tommy just talked about it, they didn't have a ton of success, you know, finding their rhythm, whether it was run or pass, but then they get in the third quarter. And because their defense had given the Ravens so many stops and critical downs, it gave them the time to kind of find where to attack the defense. And they found their answer. They started attacking the middle of this New England Patriots defense. And it was just as if they said, hey, now we got it. Let's get at these matchups in the middle of the field, tight ends on linebackers, receivers on nickel backs, tight ends on safeties, and let's just start attacking this middle part of the football field where New England's been beat all year long. And Flacco did a great job being decisive with the ball, knowing exactly where it was going to go, and being tremendously accurate. The touchdown here to Bolden, it's a blitz coverage, so he's on a safety in the back of the end zone. He throws it up and away. Pitta on a safety. Once again, he's been going in, now he goes out, but it's still in the middle of the football field. And I thought it was brilliant, whether it was Jim Caldwell, the offensive coordinator, or there's something they saw as players on the sidelines. But about 9 minutes left in the third quarter. Okay. We felt this thing out, tried to run, we've tried to throw deep. Our defense has given us great opportunities. Now we pierce them, and we pierce them in the middle of the football field again and again.
Talk about the play of Flacco. No picks in the 3 playoff games, and on this day, what opened up your eyes? Our eyes have been opened up, what I'm trying to say, in the last couple of Januaries, especially with Joe Flacco. What on this day, Trent?
He's been tremendous. And, you know, you think about no turnovers, first of all, but it's not like he's been safe with the ball. There's been quarterbacks that have gone through long stretches without throwing interceptions, but usually they're tentative and safe with the ball. He's been highly aggressive. He's still attacked the defenses with the passing game, whether it be the vertical game or today more the intermediate game. And I think overall it's been his exactness. It's been his ability to locate the ball, especially in conflict when the pocket's a little tight, but to locate the ball perfectly so his guys can really do damage after the catch.
Conversely, for New England, we don't see it very often when they don't convert. And look, nobody is perfect. But at the end of, let's say, the half, when they get the 3 points instead of 7, I mean, I know other teams wouldn't get any down there in the red zone, but that's just so un-New England. And then in the second half, they converted hardly at all when they needed to for a variety of reasons, fellas.
Well, you're talking about converting offensively. I thought their real problem was the way that the Baltimore Ravens were really able to carry the day offensively, and I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that you saw more of what a real defense is like when they are under pressure, when they are even, when they are behind, when you are forced to get stops, otherwise you are going to lose. And this is not to take anything away from them as a football team, but when Tom Brady is putting up 35 points a game, it becomes awfully easy to play solid defense because you know the known of the other team. They have to do a certain thing in order to stay in a football game.
So it's the Ravens. Then we have plenty more to talk about on this game. The Baltimore Ravens, who more than a touchdown underdog 2 weeks in a row, have gone to the other house. Peyton Manning and then Tom Brady, and they've come out with the game ball. Now, the NFC Championship game early in the day. The 49ers dug themselves a hole against Atlanta. How would they do? And more on Foxborough. Once upon a time, the 49ers were always in the NFC Championship game, or at least it seemed that way. But after a playoff drought for much of the early part of the 2000s, Here they came last year, and they got in a heartbreaking loss in overtime to the New York Giants. Could they get back? Well, yes, they did, and they flattened Green Bay a week ago. Into Atlanta they would go. They would have to win the championship game on the road against the #1 seed in the NFC. Atlanta at 13-3 had blown a 20-point lead, but won in unbelievable fashion last week against Seattle. So with that momentum and with the monkey off their back, lead them to greater heights for a franchise that never hosted a championship game. Here we go at the Georgia Dome. So here came Atlanta. Like they did against Seattle, they came out flying against Colin Kaepernick and the San Francisco 49ers. Tony Gonzalez, hey, he won the playoff game last week. Now could he get to the Super Bowl? Matt Ryan. Roddy White over the middle. Now, remember the way the Falcons moved the ball in the air for the first 2.5 quarters against Seattle in that fine secondary, fellas? Well, they said we can do the same thing, especially with Julio Jones down by the schoolyard and into the end zone. Touchdown, 7-0 Atlanta.
Well, pass protection is brilliant by the Falcons, and then Julio Jones, a little nod to the out route. Goldson bites it, gets vertical, and Matt Ryan delivers the ball.
So the Falcons back in possession as the Niners are quick out. 3rd and 10 at midfield, Matt Ryan, shotgun. Boy, did Julio Jones have a game. 11 for 182. That's a 27-yard pickup, leading to a Matt Ryan field goal. 10-0 Atlanta. The joint is rocking. Colin Kaepernick, remember, it's only his 9th start, and Corey Peters brings him down for the sack. And maybe it's not so easy the way he made it look last week.
Well, the way neutralized on mobile quarterback is immediate pressure by your defensive tackles. Great play by the Falcons there.
Very early second quarter. The Niners in the first quarter -2 yards. The Falcons almost 200. Matt Ryan. Julio Jones gets the feet in, and it's a touchdown, Atlanta, 17-0.
Boom, he gets all 3 feet in. Left, right, and the drag of the left again. Tremendous concentration. You know, great sense of where you are on the field and what a physical receiver he is.
7 to 3 feet is a yard. 17-0 the Falcons. Kaepernick to Vernon Davis. Now, this duo hadn't hooked up much once Collins started. It was the starting quarterback for the Niners, but it hooked up much on this day. Michael James, someone said he was an X factor. Touchdown, and the Niners are on the board at 17-7.
Look, it's another one of these beautifully designed runs by the offensive coordinator Greg Roman for the San Francisco 49ers, but utilizing his talent correctly. Michael James, great perimeter speed.
Now later in the quarter, 2nd and 10, Colin Kaepernick goes outside, and after 181 yards rushing, this would be it. He had 2 runs. That was the big long one. He had 2 carries for 21 yards. Most of what we saw from Kaepernick was throwing like this to Vernon Davis. And he's down to the 4-yard line. And then why not? Hey, little play action. Gore with the block. Once again, it's Davis for the score. And so 2 big drives make a 17-0 deficit, 17-14. But Atlanta, with 57 seconds left in the half, Matt Ryan says, no, we're not done. He and Julio again for a first down. 2nd and 4 from the 10. And why not go to the venerable one? He's a great one. Tony Gonzalez, 24-14 at the half. Atlanta. Matt Ryan throwing for almost 300 yards in the first half. 3rd quarter. Randy Moss. If people forgot, he has a chance to maybe get back to a Super Bowl. Moss caught 3 on the day. Frank Gore, the all-time leading rusher for the 49ers, and that's saying something. Touchdown, 24-21, game on. Ryan drops back, and then a slip, and Chris Cullivers travels, makes the pick, and the Niners take over. So now San Francisco from their own 44. Kaepernick with time, plenty. Vernon Davis with room, plenty. First down, drive continues. Then David Akers, say 1 for 1 last week. It's off the top of the upright, and it's no good.
His confidence certainly suffering as you watch him sitting there on that bench.
24-21, still the Falcons lead, but Aldon Smith jumps on the loose ball as Ryan mishandles the snap.
Pull-out blitz by the 49ers, so Matt Ryan's eyes try to go to see where he's going to get the ball. Quick 2. Fumbles the ball. Great play by Aldon Smith, being aware enough to pick it up.
So the 49ers are going to convert this into a lead because Kaepernick to Michael Crabtree going inside inside the 10-yard line, 1st and goal, Niners. 2nd and goal now from the 5. Kaepernick, Crabtree, it's a tip. No, it's a fumble! And right at the goal line, it's a fumble, and the Falcons have the football.
Dunter Robinson does a great job of pulling the ball away from Crabtree just before he gets it to the plane. At the time, what a huge turnover for the Falcons to get.
Because it looked like Atlanta then would mount a drive themselves, but no, they had the punt. Kaepernick to Crabtree goes right back to him. He holds the ball. It's a 1st down, 1st and goal from the 9. Frank Gore very quickly into the end zone, and just like that, the Niners, down 17, have taken a 28-24 lead. Bloody lip Matt Ryan, 3rd and 2. Harry Douglas from Louisville makes the catch. He had stumbled, made the catch. Now, Coach Harbaugh wanted them to take a look because did he have it or not?
Well, boom, his hand stays underneath it, and he maintained possession. Plus, it was called a catch on the field. That is why it is not overturned, even though Jim Harbaugh adamantly believes it should be.
No, I think what he said was, really, sir, I don't
Come on, man.
That is a come on, man. But that's what the call was, and so Matt Ryan gets to continue the drive. Jason Snelling salts, hits a couple of yards, but Ryan in pain, and look at him grab the left shoulder or nearby.
Yeah, hit. You can see him fall on the shoulder, the immediate reaction from it, and he's in pain.
And then 4th and 4, and it is Navarro Bowman making the play. Number 53, the Pro Bowl linebacker, knocking it away from Roddy White.
Great job right at the 1st down marker, and now the coach is excited.
Now, the 49ers had to punt. Atlanta had one more chance. They'll need a miracle, and Ryan can't really get the mustard on the Julio joke, and they tackle him before there's any laterals or anything can happen, and the San Francisco 49ers come roaring back. The handshake, Mike Smith, Jim Harbaugh, Colin Kaepernick, and the 49ers are moving back to the Super Bowl. The 49ers have beaten the Falcons 28-24. So like the old days, San Francisco going to the big game, although it'll be the first for Coach Jim Harbaugh.
This is anytime you win a game like this, it's a team effort. Everybody does a little, it adds up to be a lot. You know, this wasn't built by any one person. Tremendous win for us. Showed the heart and resolve of the team, and we'll move on with, continue in our humility and be ready to play another game in 2 weeks.
I think it's a great team win. Our team played great, our offensive line played great, our running backs ran well, and our receivers made plays. And our defense battled back in the second half. They played really well. So, I mean, this is a great team win.
It was unreal, I think, as a team, especially in the manner that we won the game. Down on the road to a quality opponent with weapons all over the place, and offense kept scoring, kept moving the ball, real tight with the O-line, and proud of those dudes, and man, just awesome feeling.
Coming out at halftime, offense had to look at it like a shootout, and the defense, we had to get stops any way we could get them.
And going down on the field frantic isn't going to help you score points. You have to stay calm. You have to try to lead your team.
He just played great. He played great. I don't even know the words to say it. I mean, it was a great performance by the quarterback.
He could do whatever. Throw the ball, run the ball. Hey, he could do whatever, man. And, he's a hard worker. Man, he's a different quarterback, man.
In a nutshell, we just didn't make enough plays to win the ball game. We played hard, and we had our chances for this to be a different outcome. We just came up short.
And we had the ball plenty of time. We moved it, right down the field. We did. And we just got into those, third and fourth down situations in the red zone. And those are the plays you have to make. I mean, to win in the playoffs, you have to make those kind of plays in those kind of drives, to win games. And we didn't make them.
It was tough for everybody, tough for, for our guys when there's finality with our season. But we will bounce back. We just don't feel real good right now.
Congrats to the Falcons on a wonderful season. And, again, they're moving forward. At least they got to this round, and they almost won it. Matt Ryan will have an MRI on Monday, but they're out, and the 49ers are in, and a quarterback that has started only 9 games, who set a record for the most yards rushing by any quarterback at any time in any game, in any, 93 years in the NFL, they played 181 yards. This time, Colin Kaepernick ran for 21 yards and had to play, dare I say, Trent, you know what I mean by this, real quarterback here.
Well, think about it. I mean, Colin's played really well since he took over for Alex Smith, and he's accomplished a lot of stuff. He's beat teams with his legs. He's made plays with his arms. He's handled his arm. He's made. He's had big moment poise going on the road to New Orleans and playing Monday Night Football against the Bears. He's accomplished a lot. The one thing he hadn't accomplished is throwing his team back into a game when they trailed. We'll check that box. And Jim Harbaugh and offensive coordinator Greg Roman did a tremendous job allowing for this to happen. Throwing the ball on early downs. They're down 17-7. They're backed up. A lot of coaches might get careful here, run the ball, try to get to a 3rd and short with the young quarterback. No. Call a play-action pass, get an ISO matchup. Colin Kaepernick stripes it in there. Now, you're going to see a bunch of throws in this clip. They are all 1st or 2nd down throws. They are all throws where Colin Kaepernick is dictating the terms on early downs. It was amazing. They were getting these tremendous. The Atlanta Falcons did a great job taking some stuff away, but what they couldn't take away were these piercing throws down the field. They get in the red zone. They're starting to come back. Let's be safe. Run the ball. No, let's throw it across the middle, the most dangerous part of the field, to a receiver. It was time and time again. The coaches trusting Colin Kaepernick to make plays with his arm to bring their team back, and that's exactly what they did. The San Francisco 49ers came back in this football game on the arm and the decision-making and the preciseness of their young quarterback, Colin Kaepernick. He was brilliant. He had 16 completions. 15 came on 1st or 2nd down. I mean, he dominated this game, not with his athleticism, not with the pistol, but by making clean, decisive reads and locating the football.
Yet when you go back to the Niners, that's such a huge part, Trent, but the 49ers, and again, I thought Atlanta, which did a good job on Seattle last week, running up the middle, primarily against Marshawn Lynch, and early on in this game, it looked like Frank Gore and company would have trouble running up the middle, which is a bread and butter for the 49ers. They kind of stayed with it, Tom, and as Kaepernick succeeded passing, this opened up as well.
Well, when Trent talks about what they took away from the 49ers, and I do think you have to pick your poison, if you will, they decided they would not allow them, Jonathan Babineau and company, to run up the middle of the field in between the tackles. So they were stymied out in the middle of the field between the 20s and the 20s. But they're committed to it. And once they got down into or near the red zone, into plus territory on their side of the field, and as the game went on, they ran the ball 29 times over the course of the day. They begin with that offensive line to wear you down, and at some point they break you with their running game. That was a shift in strength of formation. They run from a lot of exotic things that they do with their offensive line. And, you know, they're committed to certain things. They're never going to totally go away, even at 17-0. We're not going to totally go away from our running game. We're not going to do it.
And so you add up both of the championship games, the Harbaugh team, second half 35, opponents nothing. Now you know who's advancing to the Super Bowl. When we continue, plenty more on both of these games. We'll look ahead. We'll look back to Championship Sunday. Stay with us. Twice in the 4th quarter, Baltimore's Joe Flacco to Anquan Bolden. One, put the Ravens up for a touchdown by 8. And then the next one, which put the Ravens up by 15, 28-13. Stunning loss for Tom Brady and the Patriots, used to scoring so much. They scored only 1 touchdown in the AFC title game.
Disappointed. I think we...
For the New England Patriots, hoping to get another chance at that Super Bowl, will be the Ravens' chance instead. And I think one of the things that the Patriots that we've been talking about and ran into is that, and we've been talking about it in January on our shows in the morning, Tom, is that this Ravens defense that statistically is nowhere near the Ravens defense that Trent played with or even the last few years. The defense that we're seeing in January is not the team that shows up on the stat sheet for the 2012 season.
Very much more active, more attentive to detail than we would think, and that's what happens a lot of times when you get older. You are more attentive to the details. You're in the correct positions. I think Ray helps to do that for them when he is out there. They're also highly, highly motivated. They're a good, solid tackling team. They still press the fundamentals, disrupting things at the line of scrimmage, being a good tackling football team. I just think that they're so much better statistically than we think they are. And they spent a lot of time this year not being able to play because of injury to be able to play together. I mean, they came together and started, you know, Ray's playing not at 100%, but Ray's not 100% is pretty darn good. When you can make 44 tackles in 3 games through the playoffs, that's pretty darn good with an arm that's ailing.
It was much more than Gronk, Trent, being out.
Yeah.
I mean, and New England would tell you that. What weren't they able to do?
Well, people are going to see 13 points from a team that's usually lighting up the scoreboard and say, what the heck happened? Well, first, you have to understand how they normally light up the scoreboard. And you heard Tom Brady say it. They earn it. The way the New England Patriots earn offense is they execute at a very high level. They make a lot of little incisions into the defense throughout drives and create these long drives. To do that, you must execute in short yardage situations, especially third down. They were not able to do this against the Baltimore Ravens. First 3rd and 2. That's a very good throw. Wes Welker has a chance to make the play, doesn't make it. Another 3rd down. Brandon Lloyd gets rerouted, loses his balance. The ball's well located, can't catch it, would have been a 1st down. A 3rd and 2. Again, you're used to seeing the New England Patriots make this play, contested coverage, they can't make it. A 3rd and 3. They usually can run these shotgun runs. Everybody says, oh, how is it so easy? Well, they don't get it there. Now, this is something very uncommon. Wes Welker, one of the best receivers in all of football, wide open, at the change, doesn't make the play. So, what kind of offense is the New England Patriots? They're an execution offense. When they don't execute, especially in those down and distances, those are punts. We're used to seeing these drives extended and turn into points. Very simple. In this case, when the New England Patriots go up there and say, we didn't execute at a very high level, we should have made more plays, they're absolutely right. That's why they only scored 13 points.
Well, and conversely, the Ray Lewis ride continues. It's an unbelievable story, and we'll certainly be talking a lot about it in the coming 2 weeks. But the ride for another future Hall of Famer, probably first-year eligible Hall of Famer, and that would be tight end Tony Gonzalez, who after playing more games than anybody else in the NFL, with ever having won a playoff game, won one last week, there was question, would this be, however this ended up for Tony, would this be it for him? We'll have to wait and see, but Tony Gonzalez obviously head down after a tough loss in the championship game for the Falcons.
It was emotional. It was...
Well, it's from start to, if it is the finish. I mean, there's nobody, I mean, he's, tough game, you guys.
I love what he said there, because we simplify it and say, oh, our legacy's championships, and it's not complete unless you win championships. It's not true. The greatest thing an athlete can do is reach his human potential. Be the best he could possibly be, because that's all he can have control over. Tony Gonzalez did that. Dan Marino did that. Put him in the same category.
I'm just glad that he had a chance to feel what it feels like to win in the playoffs. I mean, he has been a great player, a great representative of the game. You know, from what I understand, fantastic human being. The greatest tight end likely to ever lace on a pair of cleats, and to have that attitude. Because I can tell you, when you lose these games, and Trent and I are talking about it, when you lose a playoff game, the finality of it is gut-wrenching. So for him to have that reaction and be able to see the bigger picture of what he has given to this game, amazing.
I think of the veteran players at this time of year. When we think of Tony Gonzalez, I think of a center for Atlanta named Todd McClure. He's played there for a long time, and they had a chance. These guys had played in the 20th century, dare I say, in the 1990s. Randy Moss, though, on the other side, will have a chance to go back to a Super Bowl at the end of his career. Ray Lewis, obviously, and we're talking about that. Matt Burke, center, Vikings forever, now Ravens. And then there's a guy that started his career very early in the 2000s, Ed Reed, that has a chance.
It's awesome that Ed's getting to go to the Super Bowl.
Right? I mean, those are some of the stories. Those are the human stories. Towards the championship game finale and on to the Super Bowl, we will talk about the Niners and Ravens heading. While we look that these two teams together are 6-0 lifetime in the Super Bowl. Ravens in the playoffs, you know, the Niners in the playoffs. It seems like once upon a time they're always there. They played that Thanksgiving night game a year ago, and the brothers Harbaugh met in Baltimore, won by the Ravens 16-6. This will be a little bit bigger stage. This will be, they become the first family of the Super Bowl. It was the Mannings. This year, the Harbaughs are the first family of the NFL, as it's turned out. And why don't we hear from Coach John Harbaugh on what might lay ahead?
I don't know if we had a dream this big. You know, we had a few dreams. We had a few fights. You know, we had a few arguments, just like all brothers. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, we will try to stay out of that business. We'll let the two teams duke it out as much as possible.
You want to win as many trophies as you can, and flags. So it does validate our team. You know, winning this game, and you know, we said at the start of this, there's 3 Super Bowls to win, and you know, we've won 2 so far, and now we have another one in 2 weeks.
It's been a long time. You know, we came a long way as a team. You know, from being the Lions Niners, and now, you know, we on to the Super Bowl.
You know, offensively, they have a great offensive line. They run the ball well. They got a quarterback that presents problems, especially with his legs. Defensively, they have one of the best defenses in the league. Great guys up front again. Probably one of the best linebacker corps in the league.
I'd like to think that our two teams are very similar. I'd like to think when you look at those two teams, you're looking at mirror images of 2 football teams. I'd like to think that. And it's going to be a great football game, and he's a great football coach.
For me to come out and say that this is my last ride, and for me now to be headed back to a Super Bowl, for a possibility of me possibly winning the 2nd ring, you know, how else do you cap off a career?
Well, and there you go. You know, although the Niners will have their other ideas. We heard John Harbaugh say, look, they know each other's teams.
Yeah.
That's what you're most excited about, Tommy, in this game, right?
They play football the way it's supposed to be played, very physical on both sides of the ball. No one is going to trick anybody into a victory in New Orleans. It is going to be smash-mouth football. Someone is going to earn that Lombardi trophy.
I agree with you, 98%.
Okay.
Use the word trick, and I wouldn't use the word trick, but it's a wrinkle that nobody's figured out yet. It's called the pistol. And you're going to have people tell you they figured it out, take long enough, the NFL will figure it out. There's no answer to the pistol. It's simple math, right? It's addition. You have more numbers than the other team when you run the zone read or when it's a threat. And it's geometry. You have angles set up. Nobody's found an answer for the pistol yet. The Baltimore Ravens have to, because the Niners score touchdowns off it. It's not always kept running. Today, 2 of the 3 touchdown runs were pistol runs. Big plays in the pass game come off pistol. If the Ravens can't figure out the pistol, doesn't matter how physical they are, they will lose.
We now see why Coach Jim Harbaugh in November made the decision to go, because we can scale higher mountains with Colin Kaepernick and this pistol offense. You can now see it. Courage of his conviction. Coach John Harbaugh decided to change offensive coordinators very late in the game. I'd say that both of these moves have paid off. When we return, primetime
a period of 3 playoff games, 44 tackles, almost 15 a game. He is headed back to the Super Bowl.
Boom, mine is the greatest quarterback in Baltimore Ravens history. Without a doubt, Joe Flacco, and he saves his brilliance for the playoffs. Joe Cool, 93 attempts in the playoffs, 0 interceptions.
Trent, I'm not going to quite say that about 49er quarterback history, but in 9 starts, Colin Kaepernick has done it with his legs, and he's done it with his arm, and he's brought his team back from farther behind than anyone else in any NFC Championship game, down by 17. And now it's the Ravens and the Niners that are in Super Bowl that we won't soon forget. It may have gotten off to a slow start, Tom Jackson and Trent Dilfer, but once we hit the divisional round and the championship games, it was anything but slow. I'm Chris Berman. Thanks for watching NFL Primetime. On to February after this.
It was emotional.